The Callisto protocol wants to be a brutal survival horror game, but its bosses are so mechanically hollow that once you understand one button, the entire game collapses. Before we get into anything negative, I want to make one thing very clear. The Callisto protocol looks incredible. Like genuinely, the visuals, the lighting, the facial animation, this game has aged shockingly well. If you told me this game came out last year instead of 2022, I believe you without question. Jacob Lee looks exactly like Josh Duhamel. Not kind of resembles, not video game version. That's just Josh Duhamel trapped on a frozen prison moon, and I have to give the developers serious props for that. The man is rendered with such fidelity that if he turned to the camera and started advertising a rom-com, I wouldn't even question it. And honestly, the presentation across the board is strong. Sound design, great. Environments, gross, oppressive, moody. Animations, weighty and detailed. If there's one thing the Callisto protocol nails, it's atmosphere. And I also want to give credit where it's due. The developers clearly tried to do something different. In a genre absolutely flooded with gun-focused survival horror, they took a risk and said, what if melee combat was the foundation instead? That's bold, that's interesting, and I have to respect the attempt. Unfortunately, that exact combat system is also the reason this game's boss fights completely fall apart. On paper, Callisto's melee combat sounds great. Close quarters, brutal, high risk, personal. In practice, it is astonishingly bare bones. Here's how the melee combat works. Hold left to dodge, then hold right to dodge, then left, then right again. That's it. There is no timing window, no stamina cost, no precision required. You don't need to react. You don't need to read animations. You don't need to commit. As long as you're holding the correct direction, you are basically invincible. This means the game isn't testing skill, it's testing patience. And yeah, I'll admit it, early on I struggled. Not because the enemies were hard, but because I kept doing something completely unreasonable. I tried to play the game like a normal human being. I dodge one swing, get excited and attack too early, and that is when the game punishes you. But the moment you realize, oh, I just wait, the entire combat system collapses.
Slow down! Slow down! Slow down!
Enemies stop being threats and start being wind-up toys you politely allow to finish attacking before you smack them, and that design decision completely destroys the bosses. Let's talk about the two-head mini-boss. Visually, fantastic. This thing looks like it should tear you in half and eat your spine like it's ice cream. Mechanically, it's the game quietly tapping you on the shoulder and whispering, hey, stop using your melee system. Because you're not supposed to fight him up close, you're supposed to shoot him. Only shoot him. And once you figure that out, the fight becomes laughably dry. Why? Because the dodge system still applies. There is no timing window. So when the two-head swings at you, all you have to do is hold dodge left, hold dodge right. Congrats, you are now immune to his melee attacks. There's no pressure, no panic, no adaptation. The only real danger in this fight isn't the boss, it's the shot beforehand. And that's not even a joke. The only time I failed this fight was because I forgot to buy ammo. All my guns were empty, there was no ammo in the stage, and suddenly this terrifying monster was unbeatable. Not because I played badly, but because I didn't go shopping. When the hardest part of the boss is your receipt, something has gone horribly wrong. Two-head isn't a test of mastery, he's a test of whether you remember to stock up. Now let's talk about the final boss, the climax, the big one, the moment that's supposed to test everything you've learnt. And what does the game ask you to do? Exactly the same thing. You cannot melee him, getting close is instant death. So once again the game says, run, dodge, shoot. That's the entire fight. You run around him in circles, doing your best Muhammad Ali impression, peppering him with bullets while he swings at empty air. Sometimes he chases you, at which point you sprint away like there's a Black Friday sale happening behind you. There are no new mechanics, no escalation, no clever twists.
Well, Ali is asking for it, Dulce is trying to give it to him.
It's just run, dodge, shoot, repeat. And because the dodge system has no timing requirement, there's no tension. You're not thinking, oh god, am I going to get hit? You're thinking, okay, now left, now right, now reload. This is the final boss. A toddler could beat this fight if he explained the dodge button. Not because it's easy, but because it's empty. And this is why the Callisto protocol fails as a horror game when it matters the most. Horror depends on vulnerability. You need to feel like one mistake could cost you, poor positioning matters, panic leads to death, but Callisto's combat system removes vulnerability entirely. Bosses can't scare you if they can't touch you. They look horrifying, they sound horrifying, but mechanically, they are harmless as long as you are patient. These aren't tests of skill, they're tests of endurance and ammo count. And that's such a shame, because the foundation is right there. The visuals, the atmosphere, the ambition, all undercut by a combat system that physically cannot support good boss design. The Callisto protocol didn't fail because it tried something new, it failed because it built its entire experience around a melee system that has no depth, and then asked that system to carry boss fights it was never capable of supporting. When your scariest enemies are defeated by holding left, then right, then holding shoot, you don't have bosses, you have damage sponges with jump scares. And that's a real tragedy, because this game deserved better. This is Zach, not Zach, signing off. Please remember to like, favorite, comment, and subscribe.